If you've ever shopped for a graphics card on eBay, sorted the price by low to high and clicked buy it now, then there's a good chance you've come across one of these. The Quadro NVS 300 by NVIDIA. With an average going rate of below £4, these graphics cards are absolutely everywhere. But are they actually worth it? So yes, this is the Quadro NVS 300 released by NVIDIA in Q1 of 2011. Running on the Tesla 2 architecture and being manufactured on the 40nm process, the card sports 512MB of GDDR3 memory and a passively cooled heatsink. All of this setting you back $109 and has now depreciated to the value of £3.79, or so mine cost me. The card itself is pretty unimpressive, and was only really released to be a display adapter for multi-monitor support to be installed in computers in the business sector, which is why the card features a single DMS59 port which can be either split into VGA or DVI or even DisplayPort. So obviously it wasn't released for a gaming audience, but since there are so many out there and they're so easy to get a hold of, I thought I'd put it to the test in some gaming benchmarks. So, using my i5 4590 and 16GB of DDR3 equipped main machine, I'm going to throw the card into my system and see how well it holds up. Starting off with CSGO, it was clear that the NVS 300 did not enjoy this game. Running at 640x480 lowest settings, we pulled off an average of 21 FPS, which, while on paper sounds alright, it had frequent drops in and out of the 10 to 20 FPS region, which wasn't ideal. Next up, a lighter Counter-Strike title with Source. Running the benchmark at 1080p high settings, we pulled off a pretty respectable 37 FPS on average. While not as high as some of the other graphics cards I've reviewed, it was still perfectly fine. Next up, Left 4 Dead 2 running at 640x480 low settings, where we pulled off an average of 56 FPS. Now, while we could have pushed the card a bit harder, the problem with Left 4 Dead and a few other Valve games is that the lower your FPS is, the increased input lag that you receive, and I've had this problem many times with Left 4 Dead 2, which is why we had to run it at these low settings. Next up, in Euro Truck Simulator 2 at 720p low settings, we pulled off an average of 21 FPS, which didn't quite hit the 30 FPS region which I'd be looking for with this game, but I'll give it a pass on this one anyway. Next up, GTA 5 running at 1024x768 normal or lowest settings, where we pulled off an average of 16 FPS. Which, well, I'm actually surprised that the game started on this card. No, the experience wasn't playable at all, but at least it did run the game and did try. But no, I wouldn't recommend playing it on this card. Next up, our most demanding title with Spin Tires Mudrunner, where we ran at 1280x1024 lowest settings, and pulled off an average of 14 FPS. Far from playable, where we did actually experience a lot of stutter and slowdowns throughout the game, which rendered it unplayable. And to finish us off, Minecraft running at 720p fast settings, where we pulled off a perfectly playable average of 41 FPS, which achieved a good performance rating. So, in conclusion, do I recommend buying the cheapest graphics card on eBay for gaming? As we saw in the benchmarks, the handful of games that ran well had to be put down to the lowest possible settings, and that's all down to this card's main purpose on release, to be a display adapter and nothing more. I'm not going to recommend this one. If it could handle better frame rates while also looking decently good, then possibly, but it's too far of a stretch to call this an enjoyable experience. Thanks for watching, give a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.